Evan was walking on a lonely alien road, the sky dim and quiet above him. The ground was dry, broken, and covered with strange blue dust. He planned to reach the nearest town before nightfall, but he suddenly stopped. A soft sound came from behind a large rock, like a weak breath or a tiny cry. He turned. A small alien girl stepped out slowly. She was thin, shaking, and covered in dust. Her clothes were torn, and her skin had a pale green glow that was fading, as if she had not eaten for days. She held a small cloth doll in her hands, the fabric old and damaged. Her voice was soft but full of fear. "Human, please. My doll for your bread." Evan blinked. A child offering her only toy. Why? Before he could answer, the girl looked behind him with terrified eyes and whispered, "Please. My sister is eating grass. Behind you." Evan froze. Eating grass? He slowly turned around, and what he saw made his chest tighten. Another alien girl, even smaller, was on her knees. Her hands were weak, her breath rough, and she was pulling green grass from the ground and putting it in her mouth like an animal. Her eyes were half closed, unfocused, and desperate. Her tiny body trembled with hunger. Evan felt a sharp pain in his heart. Something was wrong, very wrong. These were not wild alien children. These were little girls, starving. Alone. He stepped closer, carefully. "Hey, little one. Stop. That's not food." But the girl kept chewing, coughing as she swallowed. The older sister ran forward and pulled her away, holding her tight. Then she placed the cloth doll at Evan's feet. "Please. Take doll. Give food." Evan bent down, picked up the doll, and looked at it. It was simple, made from cheap cloth, but someone had stitched it with love. A small symbol was drawn on its dress, a strange spiral mark. Evan knew that symbol, and the moment he recognized it, cold fear entered his stomach. It belonged to an infamous alien clan, known for cruelty, known for stealing children, known for dark experiments. If these girls had that symbol, if it came from their family, or was given by someone, this could mean danger far bigger than hunger. The older girl shook again. "Sister, she gets sick. When she eats grass. Please. Help us." Evan opened his bag quickly and took out 2 pieces of bread. The girls grabbed the food, but the older one didn't eat. She pushed her share into her sister's hands first, watching with shaking eyes until the small girl took a bite. Only then did she eat her own slowly. Evan felt a wave of anger. Who left these children here? Where were their parents? Who forced them to be this hungry? Before he could ask, a sudden sharp sound came from the forest behind them, a branch breaking, fast, heavy, not a harmless animal. Something big was moving between the trees. The older girl grabbed Evan's arm tightly. "They come," she whispered. "Who?" Evan asked. Her eyes filled with terror. "The bad men. They hurt Mama. They take children. They find us every time." Evan's heartbeat slowed, then sped up. So that was it. These girls were running from hunters. Not ordinary hunters, but the clan he feared. The same clan whose symbol was on the doll. Another branch cracked. Shadow moved between the trees, tall, watching, waiting, not attacking yet, but hunting. Evan lifted the girls gently. "We need to leave, now." The older sister clutched the doll back to her chest. "Mama said, run fast. Never stop. But we ran too long. Sister cannot walk more." Evan looked at the small girl in his arms, thin, light, weak. She leaned her head against him, tired and sick. The older one whispered, "If they catch us, they take us forever." Evan's jaw tightened. He had seen many kinds of evil in the galaxy, but nothing compared to the cruelty of this clan. And now, 2 small girls were in his hands. The shadow in the forest stepped closer, but not enough to reveal itself. It was waiting, studying him. Measuring him. Evan turned away and walked fast, carrying the younger child and guiding the older one beside him. He did not know where this journey would lead. He did not know why fate put these girls in his path, but he knew one thing clearly. Tonight, someone wanted these children back, and he planned to stop them. No matter what it cost. Evan walked fast, carrying the younger girl in his arms. Her small body felt weightless, like she was made of bones and air. The older sister followed close, holding his shirt tightly so she wouldn't fall behind. The wind was cold, moving the strange blue dust on the road like soft fog. They had only walked a few minutes when the younger girl suddenly coughed again. A dry and painful sound. Evan stopped. "Hey, breathe slowly. I got you." The older girl wiped her sister's mouth with her sleeve. "She always coughs when she eats grass," she whispered. "Mama said her stomach is too weak. We had no food, so she ate anything." Evan's heart tightened again. Children should play, laugh, sleep, not starve on the ground. He looked ahead. His vehicle, a small off-road Rover, was parked near a rock hill. They just needed to reach it. Once inside, he could take them to safety. That was the plan. But plans are always tested. The same cracking sound echoed again from behind them, this time louder. The forest was dense, full of long black trees and hanging vines. Something moved fast between them, but always stayed hidden. The older girl froze. They follow. They always follow the smell of fear. Evan glanced back. "Don't look behind. Just move." He lifted the younger girl higher and almost ran toward the Rover, helping the older one climb in after him. He shut the doors quickly. Inside, the girls sat together. The older sister held the cloth doll, hugging it as if it was the last thing she loved in this world. Evan turned the engine on. The Rover hummed softly. The younger girl whispered, "Are we safe now?" Evan looked at the forest again. Something stood at the edge. Tall, still, and silent. He could not see eyes, but he felt them. "No," he said quietly. "But we will be." He drove. For a moment, no one spoke. The Rover bounced over broken stones and dry soil. The younger girl leaned on her sister's shoulder, still weak. The older girl stared out the window, scanning the shadows. Finally, Evan broke the silence. "What happened to your mother?" The older girl swallowed hard. "Mama, she told us to run. She held the bad men away. She fought so we could escape." Evan looked at her through the mirror. "Your mother sounds brave." The girl nodded. "She told me to protect my sister. But I am small. I cannot fight them. I can only run." Evan's jaw tightened. "You did good. Both of you survived. That takes strength." The girl looked down. "But they want us. They never stop. They think we are special. Special how?" Evan asked. The girl hesitated, as if afraid her words might bring danger even inside the vehicle. "Mama said, our blood is different. It has something inside. Something they want. They take children with this blood and use them for things." "What kind of things?" Evan asked, though he already feared the answer. The girl shook her head. "Bad things. Things that break children." Evan gripped the steering wheel tighter. He had heard rumors. Stories of a clan using rare alien children for experiments, breeding programs, and genetic harvesting. He hoped those stories were lies, but now, two little girls sat beside him, proof that the nightmares were real. The Rover passed through a clearing. A soft alarm blinked on the screen motion sensor triggered behind them. The older girl gasped. "They are close?" Evan nodded. "Yes, but the Rover is fast. They can't catch us on foot." He was wrong. A shadow leaped from the forest and hit the road behind them. A tall figure, muscular, armored, and holding a long weapon, landed on its feet like a beast. Its eyes glowed faint red. The younger girl whimpered. The older one grabbed her sister and the doll. "That is one of them," she whispered. "A tracker." Evan pressed the accelerator, and the rover shot forward. The tracker didn't chase, not yet. It simply watched them leave, like a predator memorizing the path of its prey. Then it lifted a small device to its mouth. A communicator. Evan's eyes widened. "He's calling the others." The older girl closed her eyes, shaking. "They send hunters next. Fast ones. With claws." Evan drove even faster. "We'll get to my old bunker. It's hidden underground. They won't find us there." The girl looked at him with hope and fear. "Why are you helping us? Humans don't help aliens." Evan looked back at her through the mirror. "Because no child should trade a doll for food. Because I won't watch you die." She stared at him for a long moment, then hugged the doll tightly, but before relief could settle, the warning alarm beeped again. 3 new signals appeared behind them. "Closing the distance fast. Hunters." Evan whispered. "Hold on." The girls grabbed each other. The chase was just beginning. Evan drove the rover as fast as it could go, the tires kicking up clouds of blue dust behind them. The 2 alien girls held each other tightly, their small fingers trembling. The younger one's breathing grew uneven, and sweat appeared on her forehead. "Stay awake," Evan said, glancing back. "We're almost safe." But he knew he was lying. The blinking red lights on his screen told the truth. 3 hunters were following them, closing in fast. The forest on both sides rustled violently as dark shapes moved through the trees, running parallel to them. The older girl whispered, "They come like shadows. They never get tired." Evan gripped the wheel harder. These hunters were not normal soldiers. They were raised to track, to chase, to capture. Once they chose prey, they never stopped. He made a sharp turn, entering a narrow path between tall black trees. The rover shook as dead branches hit the sides. The girls gasped, but Evan focused on the map in his mind. He had been here years ago during a rescue mission. Hidden somewhere ahead was an old underground shelter, a bunker built during a forgotten war. If he reached it, he could hide the girls. At least for a while, but the hunters were smarter than he expected. A puff, loud thump hit the roof. The girls screamed. Evan looked up. A dark figure had jumped from a tree and landed directly on the rover. Its claws scraped against the metal roof, making a terrible sound. "Hold on," Evan shouted. He swerved the rover left then right. The creature slid, lost balance, and fell off. But 2 more shadows leaped toward them from the trees. One landed beside the rover, keeping pace, running on its long arms like a beast. The younger girl cried, "Make it go away." Evan reached for his blaster, opened the window just enough, and fired a warning shot. The creature hissed, its eyes glowing brighter, then slipped back into the forest. But it didn't leave. It was circling. Waiting for a better chance. The rover shook again as something heavy hit the back door. Evan sped forward. Just a little more. Just a little more. The path opened into a wide, empty field. In the center was a hill of cracked rocks. Beneath that hill, the hidden bunker. "We're here," Evan said. But so were the hunters. The black tree line behind them rippled, and 3 tall figures stepped out, armor dark, faces hidden, weapons in their hands. They didn't run now. They walked slowly, confidently. They knew Evan had nowhere left to go. The older girl whispered, "They want us alive. They don't want to fight you. They only want to take us." Evan shook his head. "They won't take anyone." He drove straight toward the rocky hill. The girls held each other as the rover climbed unevenly over broken stones. He stopped near a large boulder shaped like a jaw. Evan jumped out, opened a hidden metal latch on the ground, and pulled up the bunker hatch. Inside was a narrow ladder leading down into darkness. He turned to the girls. "Go, climb down, quickly." The older girl helped her sister onto the ladder, then followed her. Evan waited until both were halfway down, then shut the hatch halfway and locked it from below. Just in time. A hunter jumped onto the rock, landing where Evan had been standing seconds earlier. It roared, frustrated, and slammed its claw against the sealed hatch. Inside the bunker, the girls clung to Evan as he helped them climb the last few steps down. When they reached the bottom, dim lights flickered on automatically. The air smelled old, but it was safe. For a moment, the girls sat on the floor. The younger one leaned against the wall, exhausted. The older girl kept hugging the doll. "Will they break the door?" she whispered. Evan looked up. The metal above shook again. Another claw strike. "No," he lied softly. "This bunker was made to survive bombs. They can't get through easily." He hoped that was true. He walked to an old storage box and pulled out a water flask, handing it to the girls. They drank slowly, too weak to speak. Evan watched them and felt a rising anger. No child should live like this. No child should run for their life. He knelt beside them. "I need you to tell me everything. Why do they want you? What is this blood your mother talked about?" The older girl looked at her sister, then at the doll in her arms. She carefully opened a small hidden pocket stitched inside the doll's chest. Inside was a tiny metal chip. "This is why," she said. "Mama hid this for us. It has everything. The truth. Our secret." Her message. Evan's breath caught. A small, thin voice suddenly echoed from above, not a child's voice. A hunter's voice. It said only one thing. "We know you're in there. Human." And the metal roof shook again. The real danger was only beginning. The bunker lights flickered weakly as it then knelt beside the girls. The younger one rested her head on her sister's lap, her breathing slow but steady. The older girl held the tiny metal chip tightly in her hand, as if it were a part of her heart. Above them, the hunters continued to hit the hatch. Each strike echoed through the underground room like thunder. Dust fell from the ceiling. The girls shivered every time the metal vibrated. Evan placed a hand on the older girl's shoulder. "You said this chip has the truth. Your mother's message?" The girl nodded slowly. "Mama said, when the time was right, someone good will help us. Someone who is not afraid." Evan wasn't sure he was fearless. His heart was pounding fast, his breath tight. But he knew one thing. He would not abandon these children. He activated the chip. A small hologram flickered to life, glowing in front of them. A woman's face appeared tired, bruised, but full of love. Her dark green eyes matched the girls'. Her voice trembled but stayed firm. "My daughters, if you see this message, I am not with you anymore. But I pray you are alive." The girls gasped. The older one covered her mouth. The younger one looked confused, too weak to fully understand. The mother continued, "You both have something rare inside your blood. You were born with a genetic pattern our clan wants. They want to use you, to make more like you, to control future generations." Evan felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He had heard dark rumors of breeding programs, of children turned into experiments. Seeing the truth now made his hands curl into fists. The hologram flickered again, the mother's face tightening in pain. "I tried to hide you. I tried to protect you. But they took me, and they will come for you. Never trust anyone from the clan. Never let them take you back." The older girl began to cry softly. The younger one clutched her sister's arm. The mother continued, "Your blood is strong because of love, not because of power. Humans helped our ancestors long ago. A piece of human DNA mixed with ours, and it changed our line forever. That is why the clan wants you. They want that power." Evan blinked in surprise. Human DNA? Inside alien children? This story was getting deeper than he imagined. The mother's voice weakened. "If you meet a human who shows kindness, Trust them. Humans carry the same strength in their hearts. If one protects you, follow them. The hologram ended abruptly. Silence filled the bunker. The older girl wiped her tears and looked at Evan. Mama said, "Someone good would help us." "Is that you?" Evan exhaled slowly. "I don't know if I'm good, but I promised myself no child would suffer if I could stop it." The girl nodded. "Then we trust you." Suddenly, a loud metal crack shook the bunker. The hatch above bent inward slightly. The hunters were breaking through. Evan stood up sharply. "We need to move deeper inside. There's another room further back." He guided the girls down a narrow hallway filled with dust and old wires. The bunker had 2 chambers. The first was small, built for emergencies. The second was larger and stronger, designed as a war shelter. As they reached the second room, Evan sealed the metal door behind them. The pounding from above grew faster, angrier. The girls sat near an old storage crate. The older one hugged her sister tightly. The younger girl whispered, "Mama, Mama." Evan knelt beside her. "Your mother fought hard, and she gave you a chance to live. We can't waste that." The older girl asked, "Can we save her? Is she alive?" Evan hesitated. The mother's message gave no answer. But hunters don't chase dead people. They chase value. "I don't know," Evan said softly. "But we will try." A deep rumble echoed above them. The hunters had brought a cutting weapon. Evan recognized the sound. Plasma saws. Tools meant to slice through thick metal. He walked to a hidden panel on the wall and opened it. Inside were old weapons from past soldiers. Rusty, but still usable. He grabbed a pulse rifle, checked its charge, and loaded a new cell. The older girl watched him with wide eyes. "You want to fight them alone?" Evan shook his head. "I am not fighting alone. I am fighting for you. And for your mother." The younger girl weakly held the doll up to him. "For luck." Evan smiled gently and touched the doll's head. "Thank you. I'll need it." A huge explosion shook the bunker. The hunters had almost cut through. Evan stepped between the girls and the breaking door. Raising his rifle, he whispered, "They chose the wrong children to hunt." And the door above began to glow red. The bunker shook again as the plasma saw cut through the last layer of the metal door. Sparks rained down in bright orange showers, lighting the dark room like fireflies. The 2 alien girls huddled together, their small hands gripping each other and the cloth doll tightly. Evan stood in front of them with his pulse rifle raised. His eyes stayed fixed on the glowing red circle forming on the bunker door. Once the cut completed, the hunters would enter. And they would not talk. They would take the girls. They would kill him. He breathed deeply, steadying his heartbeat. "Not today," he told himself. "Not these children." A loud snap echoed. The final bolt broke. The cut door piece fell forward, landing with a heavy crash that shook the entire bunker. Out of the smoke stepped the first hunter. It was tall. Its armor black-red, its face hidden behind a mask carved with clan symbols. Its eyes glowed yellow like a predator searching for prey. Behind it, 2 more hunters entered, blocking any path of escape. The older sister grabbed the younger girl. "Don't let them take us, please." Evan tightened his grip on the rifle. "I'm right here. I won't let them pass." The weapons in the hunter's hands hummed with deadly energy. They spread out, closing in around him. One pointed its claw. "Evan, you are human," it hissed. "This is not your matter. Move aside." Evan didn't move. "The girls are under my protection." The hunter's mask tilted slightly, almost amused. "Human protection is weak." Evan smiled coldly. "Try me." The first hunter lunged. Evan fired a pulse shot directly into its chest. The blast sent it crashing backward. The other 2 roared and charged. Evan rolled to the side as a sharp blade cut into the bunker floor where he had stood. The girls screamed. Evan fired again. One blue bolt shot into the second hunter's helmet, cracking the visor. The creature staggered, its breathing loud through the broken mask. But the third hunter was fast. Too fast. It closed in on Evan, grabbing the rifle with incredible strength and tossing it aside. Evan fell backward, barely dodging a claw aimed at his throat. The metal wall behind him sparked as the claw scraped across it. Evan punched the hunter's side, but it barely felt it. It grabbed him by the jacket and slammed him onto the floor. Pain shot across Evan's chest. His vision blurred for a moment. The hunter raised its blade again, aiming for his heart. No! The older girl shouted. Her scream distracted the hunter. For 1 second. 1 second was enough. Evan grabbed the metal rod from the ground and shoved it upward with all his strength. The rod pierced the weak joint under the hunter's armor, and the creature roared in pain. Falling sideways. Evan pushed himself up, panting heavily. Blood dripped from a cut on his forehead. The room shook again as the first hunter recovered and charged once more. This time, Evan was ready. He grabbed an old explosive canister from the wall, a leftover war device. He activated its short timer and threw it at the hunter's feet. The creature looked down. Boom! A bright explosion filled the room. The hunter flew backward, slamming into the metal doorframe. Smoke flooded the bunker. Coughing, Evan stumbled toward the girls and shielded them with his body. The shockwave shook the walls, but the room stayed intact. When the smoke cleared, 2 hunters were down. Only one remained, the second hunter with the cracked visor. It rose slowly, angrier than ever. It pointed at the girls. Targets identified. Blood samples required. Evan stepped between them. You'll have to go through me. The hunter charged like a beast. This time Evan didn't run. He grabbed a broken shield from the floor and blocked the attack. Sparks shot out as the blade struck the metal. Evan pushed forward, using all his strength. He knew he couldn't overpower the hunter, but he could trap it. He maneuvered backward until he reached the far wall, a wall with an old power generator humming behind it. He ducked suddenly. The hunter's blade stabbed straight into the generator. Electricity burst like a storm. A huge surge of energy traveled through the blade into the hunter's body. The creature screamed as its armor sparked violently. Its visor shattered. Its body convulsed and then fell forward, collapsing to the ground. Silence filled the bunker. No growls. No claws. No hunters. Only Evan's heavy breathing and the small gasps of the 2 girls. The older girl ran to him and hugged his arm. You saved us. You really saved us. Evan knelt down and hugged both sisters tightly. I'll always protect you. But we're not done. The younger girl looked up weakly. They keep coming? Evan nodded. Yes, they will send more. The older girl whispered, Mama, is she alive? Evan looked at the destroyed hunters, then at the hidden data chip in the doll. If they hunt so hard, he said softly, then your mother is alive. And they need all of you. The girl's eyes widened. Evan stood. We're going to find her. And we're going to end this. But above them, the earth shook again. Something bigger was landing outside. The next wave was coming. Asterisk. The bunker trembled like a living beast as something massive landed outside. Dust fell from the ceiling. The young alien sisters clung to Evan's arm, their eyes wide with fear. Evan listened carefully. This wasn't the sound of hunters. It was heavier, deeper, a transport craft. They brought a dropship, Evan whispered. A whole squad is coming. The older sister's voice shook. They want us so much? Yes, Evan said. And we need to leave before they break this bunker. He lifted the younger girl, who was growing weaker by the hour. Her skin had turned pale green, almost white. The older sister followed close, holding the cloth doll tightly against her chest. Lights flickered again, as Evan led them through a narrow service tunnel at the back of the bunker. The tunnel was old, filled with rusted pipes and broken wires. The air smelled like metal and dust. "Where does this go?" the older girl asked. "To an old battlefield," Evan said. "The clan avoided that place for years. The weather, radiation, old machines. It scares them. Does it scare you?" the girl asked softly. Evan smiled a little. "It scares everyone. But fear won't stop us." Behind them, the bunker door finally gave way. A loud explosion filled the tunnel entrance. Heavy metal footsteps followed. The hunters were inside. Evan moved faster. The girls hurried behind him. The tunnel led to a ladder going up. Evan climbed first, then pulled the girls after him. They came out into the open, a ruined land of broken buildings, half-destroyed towers, and shattered machines from a forgotten war. The sky above was filled with red clouds, glowing like fire. The air hummed with old energy. The younger girl whispered, "This place is scary." Evan placed a hand on her head. "I know, but it's safer than the bunker now." A deep roar echoed across the ruined field. Evan turned. The dropship had landed on the other side of the ruins. Hunters poured out, taller, faster, and better armed than the ones he fought before. He didn't have much time. He guided the girls behind a collapsed tower, using the fallen metal as a shield. He could hear the hunters scanning the area. "Beep, beep." Tracking sensors. "They are following our heat signatures," Evan whispered. "What do we do?" the older girl asked. Evan scanned the ruins. Something familiar caught his eye, an old war mech lying on its side, half buried under rubble. The cockpit was broken open, but the external weapons might still work. "Stay here," he said. "Don't move. Don't make a sound." The older girl's eyes widened. "No, you're hurt. And they are many." Evan knelt down. "I made you a promise. I will protect you. I will find your mother. But I need to slow them down." The younger girl tugged his sleeve weakly. "Come back. Please." Evan squeezed her hand. "I will." He ran toward the fallen mech. Hunters spotted movement and fired. Blue plasma beams hit the ruins, sending chunks of stone into the air. Evan dove behind a metal pillar, rolled, then sprinted again. He reached the mech and climbed onto its side. "Come on, come on," he whispered as he ripped open a control panel. Old crystals flickered faintly. The mech's secondary weapons powered up turret lasers and a shoulder-mounted cannon. He aimed the cannon toward the approaching hunters. "Say hello," he muttered. Boom. The cannon fired a huge blast that shook the ground. 3 hunters were thrown backward, armor cracking. The others took cover behind broken walls. The girls watched from their hiding spot, both shaking and speechless. The older sister whispered, "He is fighting the whole clan alone." The younger girl hugged the doll. "Mama said humans have brave hearts." The hunters regrouped. And they adapted. They spread out, surrounding the mech. One of them pointed a device, and a blue net shot out, wrapping around the cannon, disabling it. "Not good," Evan muttered. He jumped down as lasers blasted the mech, causing a small explosion. The force threw him across the ground. His head spun, ears ringing. Pain shot down his arm, but he forced himself up. He couldn't stop. Not now. A shadow moved behind him. A hunter raised its blade. Bang. A small explosion hit the hunter's arm. It staggered. Evan turned. The older girl stood behind a broken wall, holding a tiny flare gun she found in the rubble. Smoke rose from its barrel. Her hands shook, but her eyes were fierce. "You will not hurt him," she shouted. The hunters turned toward her. Evan's heart dropped. "No, run!" But before the hunters could move, a loud mechanical roar filled the air. A massive spotlight lit up the ruins. A second dropship landed far away, this one bearing a different symbol. A voice boomed through speakers. "Human! Protect the children! We are here for the mother!" Evan froze. The girl stared. their mother, was alive, and someone else, some powerful force, had come to pull her out of the clan's hands. The battle was only beginning. Asterisk, a bright spotlight cut through the red sky, turning the ruins into a battlefield of sharp shadows. The hunters froze, confused. Evan pushed himself up, blinking against the sudden white glare. The girls clung to the broken wall, trembling. A new dropship hovered above the field, larger, cleaner, with silver markings instead of the clan's red. Its engines hummed with controlled power. From the speaker, the same voice echoed again. "Human, keep the girls safe. Their mother is with us." The older girl gasped. "Mama? Mama is alive?" The younger one almost collapsed from the shock, whispering, "Mama. Mama." But the clan hunters didn't care about hope. They roared in anger and fired at the silver dropship. Blue beams shot through the air like lightning. But the new ship's shields absorbed them easily. The side door opened with a loud hiss. A group of armored rescuers stepped out, their armor shining silver blue. And behind them, held by two medics, stood a woman, thin, weak, but unmistakably alive. "Mama!" The older sister screamed. The woman searched the ruins with desperate eyes until she saw her daughters. Tears spilled instantly. "My girls!" she cried. The clan hunters reacted immediately. They charged toward the children, ignoring the rescuers. Evan shook off his pain and fired his pulse rifle at the nearest hunter. The shot hit its shoulder, making it stumble, but not fall. The rescuers opened fire with stronger weapons. Blue beams clashed with red. The air burned hot with energy. Evan ran back to the girls, shielding them again. "Stay behind me," he said. "Don't move." The mother tried to run to them, but she collapsed, too weak. The rescuers caught her before she hit the ground. The older girl cried out, "Mama!" "Let her stay there," Evan said softly. "We'll bring you to her." The hunters regrouped. 3 remained, the strongest ones. Their leader, wearing thicker armor and carrying a large energy blade, stepped forward. His voice cut through the battlefield. "The children belong to the clan. Give them back." Evan pointed his rifle directly at him. "Not happening." The leader snarled. "Human, you fight for what you don't understand." Evan answered coolly, "I don't need to understand. They're children." The leader charged. Evan grabbed a broken metal panel and blocked the first strike. Sparks flew in every direction. The force pushed Evan back. His shoulders screamed with pain, but he held on. Behind the leader, another hunter ran toward the girls. The older sister pushed her younger sibling behind a pile of rubble and stood her ground. Holding only her doll, the hunter reached for her. A blast of bright blue energy hit its chest. The mother, still weak, had grabbed one of the rescuers' weapons and fired from the dropship ramp. Her hands trembled, but her aim was perfect. "For my daughters!" she shouted. Evan saw the opening. He swung the metal panel and slammed it into the clan leader's helmet. The leader roared and stumbled. Evan didn't wait. He drove his fist into the exposed joint of the hunter's armor, the weak spot he had learned during the last fight. The leader crashed to his knees. The last hunter tried to retreat, but the rescuers surrounded him, forcing him to drop his weapon. Silence finally began to settle across the ruins. The clan was defeated. Evan dropped to one knee, exhausted. His chest hurt. His head throbbed. But he stood again, because the girls were still calling for their mother. "Come," he said softly. "She's waiting." The older girl held her sister's hand as they followed Evan across the battlefield. Their steps were shaky, their hearts racing. The mother tried to stand when she saw them, but her legs failed. She fell to her knees, arms open wide. "My children. My babies." The girls ran into her arms. The hug was desperate, messy, full of tears and shaking breaths. The mother held them as tightly as her broken body allowed. "I thought I lost you," she whispered. I thought they took you forever. We ran, Mama, the older girl said through tears. We ran like you said. And the human saved us. The mother's eyes lifted to Evan. For a long second, she stared at him, in disbelief, in gratitude, in awe. You saved my daughters, she said, voice breaking. I have nothing to give. But I owe you my life. Evan smiled weakly. You don't owe me anything. I just did what was right. The mother shook her head. No human has done something like this for our kind in a long time. You risked everything. Evan looked at the girls, then at the broken ruins, then at the fallen hunters. I just couldn't walk away, he said quietly. The mother reached out and touched his arm. You didn't just save them. You saved our bloodline. The rescuers gathered around, preparing to leave. The girls held Evan's hand. Will you come with us? The older sister asked softly. The younger one nodded hopefully. Evan hesitated. His body hurt. His journey had been long. But then he saw the mother's hopeful eyes. Yeah, he said softly. I'll come. The dropship door opened. A new future waited inside. As they boarded, the mother whispered, You showed the galaxy that humans are still heroes. Evan looked at the two girls hugging him. Heroes? He said with a tired smile. No, just someone who couldn't watch children suffer. The dropship lifted into the sky, leaving behind the ruins, the clan, and the nightmare, and carrying toward a new life, a family rebuilt by courage, love, and a human heart.